What's up, guys? My name's Anj, and I am a co-owner at Mandela Grocery Cooperative. Prior to that, I was the owner-operator of a green smoothie and salad company in San Francisco. I ran it for 4 years. I started from scratch, zero, nilch, and ran it to be delivering smoothies to some of the big tech companies in San Francisco. And it was really fun. But this video talks all about things that I wish I would have known at the very beginning of my journey that would have helped me just, run a business that was a little bit tighter and manage my burnout more. So stay tuned. I hope that you learn a few things from my story. I would say one of the most important things to keep in mind when you're starting your business is to do something that you absolutely love. Because running a business is extremely difficult. It takes a lot of time and energy. So if you're doing something that you love, then, it's kind of fun. So for me, I started making green smoothies. Well, I started juicing first, but then I started making green smoothies because I really liked the fiber in the smoothie and the fact that the sugars would be absorbed into my bloodstream a little bit slower because there's all the fiber from the vegetables, the greens, and the fruit. So I got really into them. And at the time I was living with my sisters, or right after I started making green smoothies as a hobby, I moved in and started living with my sisters. And my oldest sister, Nina, was pregnant at the time with her oldest. And so, they started loving my smoothies, and they would always ask me to make them. And she was in all these little new mom circles or whatever. And so she would bring smoothies with her to little meetings. And then the other moms wanted smoothies. So it just kind of naturally grew. But it was fun for me to just kind of be, making healthy drinks and sharing them with the community. So really, it's important to just do something that you love, because I spent a lot of hours and time researching flavors, trying different combinations of fruits and vegetables, different proportionings, but that was fun for me. So definitely, if you are considering starting a business, do something that you're already interested in, something that's a hobby of yours, something that you don't mind spending hours of your day doing. So then it's kind of how do you go from shifting it to just being a hobby and something that you're giving away to being a business, something that people are willing to pay their hard-earned money for? That takes a lot of time. So that's when you kind of do more research. You really try to perfect. For me, I was perfecting my smoothies. I was obsessed with the consistency of my smoothie, meaning the mouthfeel. I didn't want no chunks, no bits of ginger in that you could feel in your mouth when you drink it. I want it to be completely smooth. And then I really wanted the temperature to be right, not too cold, an icy that gives you brain freeze or whatever. I wanted it to be cold enough that it's this is a smoothie, but not giving you brain freeze, and not room temperature. And so that means I had to really play with when to put the ice in, how much ice to put in so it doesn't dilute the flavor. Are you freezing your fruits in advance, you know what I mean? So that it's giving you that cold feel without watering down. So this is what I'm saying, it takes a lot of time for you to perfect your thing, because you need it to stand apart from, if you're gonna ask somebody to pay for your smoothie or for whatever your product is that you're selling, you have to have a product that stands apart from anything else that anybody else is doing. And then I was also creating different flavor profiles, because with smoothies in particular, people really like to just buy a fruit blend, a frozen fruit blend or whatever from the freezer aisle at the grocery store. And that's fine if you're doing it at home, but if you're selling your smoothies, it's really more about which flavors go good together. Apples and ginger go good together, you know what I mean? Celery and pineapple go good together. I did a bunch of research around which flavor profiles go nicely together, and then also tried to figure out which greens pair nicely with the fruit profiles. So that's, all of that is really just to say it's so important that you're creating a product that really stands apart. So lots of testing, nerd out, have fun with it, but then once you do get to a place where you're like, this is good, and you're giving it to your family and friends, they're like, no, this is really bomb. That's what you need to sell. And so what I did is I used to just put them in mason jars, literally like this, lid, I put a little label on it with all the ingredients. And I'd sell them to my friends. I'd sample them, try some, and people would buy them. They'd pay, $10-15 for a jar of smoothies. And then a little bit later, I tabled at an event. And that's a really good way, because it's a lot of people walking by your table and people are interested. They see all the fruits and veggies, the beautiful display. They stop and there like, wow, that was a good time for me to figure out a price point, because I remember I was selling smoothies in little 10-ounce plastic cups, compostable cups, and they were $5. And this was back in 2012, so it was a while ago. This is before green smoothies was a thing. So right now when you say green smoothies, people know what that is. But when I was doing this, it was before people really knew what green smoothies were. So selling them for $5 for a little cup was a thing. People were like, what? It's too expensive. But I liked that fair. I learned a lot during tabling at an event, because some people that were very price sensitive, some people I would negotiate me down to $4 a cup. And I was fine with that. While other people were fine with paying $6 or $7, So it was just interesting to kind of get a gauge of where customers' minds were at in terms of what they would pay for in exchange for my product. And I found that the $5 range was the most popular range, so I stuck with that. So it's just a really good thing to keep in mind. At the very beginning of your business, you're really just trying to figure it out, trying to figure out what your product is, how you can make your product stand apart from everybody else doing it in that lane, and then how much are people willing to pay for your product. This next thing to consider when you're starting your business is to really leverage the relationships that you already have in your life. So for me, I grew up in a small town in Virginia, and when I started my green smoothie business, I was in the DC metro area. But one of my friends from my hometown found out about it, and he hit me up and was, interested in what I was doing. So he lived out here in the Bay Area in San Francisco, and he asked if I could come out there and just, he could show me around and we could talk about really taking my business to the next level. It was really cool of him to kind of, he had reached a certain level of success. And so it was nice for him to kind of turn back and kind of help me build my business up. And I wasn't even really looking for business partner like that. But when something like that comes across your path and you're trying to start a business, just say yes. Say yes to any opportunity that can really help you move your little hustle to a legit business. So another thing to consider when you're starting your business is to take it very seriously. That's what, in my opinion, separates a hustle from a business. Not saying the hustlers don't take it really seriously, but making smoothies became my full-time career type job. I was getting up at 5:30 in the morning, making smoothies, driving them all over San Francisco, dropping them off, coming back, organizing my files, really keeping an eye on my bank account, organizing all the expenses, trying to figure out, what's my next step and how am I going to open my restaurant. It was, the thing that I did from sun up to sundown. I was obsessed with it. And I think that if you're serious about creating a business, especially if you want to have employees and if you're doing something that's a brick and mortar, like a retail business, it takes that level of hustle, because there are a lot of expenses that come along with running a business. So you have to be bringing in a certain level of income. taking your business seriously means being super duper organized. So you know where all of your files are, all your tax documents, all your government documents, like once you get all those ducks in a row, keep those files organized, create, digital organization systems for yourself. Just the more organized you can be, the better. And then at some point, once you grow to a certain point, you are going to have employees. And so that's when, for me, my experience was, I wasn't really making smoothies as much. I wasn't the main one making smoothies. Like, my employees were making smoothies, and then I was spending the same amount, if not more time on the business, but I was, now managing HR and payroll and, all these marketing materials, and really trying to build more relationships and just keep my vision in mind and trying to reach that next step of the business. That's a thing for entrepreneurs. Like, when you start like a green smoothie business like I did, or any kind of business, you think that the majority of your time is going to be spent making the thing that you love to make, the thing that was your hobby. But at some point, it kind of is like you literally hand that off to somebody else and you're over here like running the business. But that's what it takes. As a business owner, you wear many hats. I learned a ton. I think the more seriously you take it, the more organized you are, you'll help your business grow. Managing burnout. Burnout is a very real thing. People tend to think when they're starting a business, they're like, I got this, I can do this, I can do that. I can, go to an event until 1:00 in the morning and then get up at 6 a.m. and, make these smoothies. In my mid-20s, that's how I was rolling through this, and it was okay. But ultimately, my business was only around for 4 years. 4 years is a long time, and I'm proud of that. But I burned out. That's basically what happened. I burned out, and I didn't really have a solid understanding of cash flow. So we're going to talk about cash flow after this segment. Basically, the way that I was managing my burnout, or what I wish I would have known back then in terms of managing burnout, is how important it is to have a morning routine, just to carve out 30 minutes a day for yourself and your own mental health and stress management. So whether that's waking up a little bit earlier, doing some prayers. At the time I was really into Buddhism. So, doing some chanting, doing some praying, exercising maybe for 30 minutes, writing for 30 minutes, drawing, coloring, whatever your thing is, just figuring out a time in the day that you can really just shut everything else that's happening around you off and just do that thing. It brings this presence of mind that I think is really important for people who have a million things going on in their head at any given moment, like entrepreneurs. So so I think if my older me would have told younger me how important it is to be consistent with that, because if you're not consistent with your own stress management, then you are going to burn out. I took notes, so let me just look at my notes real quick. Have a mantra. So having a mantra is really important too in terms of managing your burnout. So when you're doing something that's particularly challenging, it's just nice to have a little thing that you can go to, a little rhyme, a little saying that you go to in your mind that just reminds you I am capable of doing difficult things. I got this. I am smart. Just something positive and reinforcing that you can do this, because it gets hard. The hard days are very hard, and you don't want to push yourself into a dark, depressing place. So just remember that you got this, you're capable of it. Yeah, so mantras helped me. And then too, just being aware of who you're surrounding yourself with. I'm a very optimistic, positive person. I like to surround myself with people who are also positive. I can't have negative people too close in my space, because it makes me to start doubting what I'm capable of. And it's as an entrepreneur, you just can't afford to doubt yourself. So yeah, just really, manage who you're around. Make sure that not only your friends are, positive and reinforcing of your vision, but your team that you're building, your employees are also like really rooting for the business to succeed. And, they're willing to go above and beyond to help achieve that vision and that goal. Those are things that I would say, I wish I would have known that would help me manage my burnout. Another thing to keep in mind when you are starting your entrepreneurial journey, you're starting your new business venture, a little term called cash flow. So things I wish I would have known when I first started. It's like, I want my business to be profitable in 3 years. Like, profitable is always the thing, but it's like, nobody's really out here talking about cash flow. And it's really an important concept for entrepreneurs to understand. What I wish I would have known is how organized you have to be in order to really have a handle on your cash flow. Drop some comments below if you want a video that goes more into detail, because we can, pull a profit and loss statement and really look at some numbers and really, talk about creating a cash flow equation in a spreadsheet. That would be really helpful. So let me know if you want to see a video like that. So you have your business, you're running it, you're loving it, you're feeling like a badass boss, and then it gets really hard and you're stressed out all the time. You have no money, you're completely broke, and it's just hard. It's okay to walk away. Like I said, I ran my first business for 4 years. It failed. I'm not ashamed to say that. It was a lot of love, a whole lot of work, literal blood, sweat, and tears went into that business, and I learned a lot, and I'm not the same person I was when I first started that business, so it's 100% worth the experience. So, but just know that when that moment comes, if that moment comes for you, it's okay to walk away and, and create space for the next thing. Teddy, get down. It's okay to create space for the next, your next venture, for the next chapter of your life when your senses are telling you that it's time to stop. So just, it was hard. It was really hard decision to make because nobody wants to fail, but failure doesn't always have to look like, like shame on you, like, you really fucked up, it doesn't have to be that. It could just be like, look, I put my all into this thing. I learned a lot. I just don't want to do it anymore. It's not fun anymore. And I'm going to open up space in my life to do the next thing. That's it. I'm in my dream job now. I work at Mandela Grocery Cooperative, and I get to co-own a grocery store with 8 other amazing humans, and I love it. And there's no way I would have landed in that job if it wasn't for my green smoothie business. That's literally how I met these people and how I met, Mandela Grocery Cooperative. So I'm so thankful for that previous experience and that it got me to where I am now, living out my dream. Thanks for watching this video. If you like it, please click subscribe and hit us in the comments below. Let us know which parts of this video you like, which parts resonated with you. And if you want us to create more videos about entrepreneurship, business ownership, just let us know. Or about green smoothies, healthy eating, we got you. We have lots of information, so just let us know in the comments below. Click subscribe, and thank you. Love you. See you next time.